What's up, everybody? PJ Braun here, president of Blackstone Labs, and I'm standing here with the lovely Marissa, aka Miss Rissa. And this workout is pretty important. I wish I shot it a day or two earlier because all of the gyms are closing down everywhere in the USA. I've been fortunate enough to have one of the gyms by me, Busybody, stay open. I don't know how much longer that's going to be a factor. So everybody's asking me like what they can do at home. What if there's no gym for a couple weeks? And I actually work out at home all the time, and my schedule is crazy, and Marissa knows. Actually always, if you come into my house, there's always stuff hanging right here from stuff that I do at home. Now, depending on how serious you want to be, you can really stock yourself up. And there are some things that I think are good for everybody to have. Now, you don't got to get really fancy. I got some fancy stuff in here, okay? If you guys want to go look up the X3, it's pretty fancy. We're not even going to use that. All right, you don't need that. I do suggest that everybody get a foam roller, and everybody should foam roll every day. Not going to use that either. Now, depending on how much you want to rough it, you may want to use the yoga mat, so we're going to actually come back to this. And if you have the money to invest into one of these Swiss balls, they're great for doing all sorts of different exercises, including all of your core work. But what you really need to have an awesome workout, and at first you're going to say to yourself, there's no way that this is going to be enough to get a good workout. But I'm going to teach you some tips to make these little tools provide everything you need for an awesome workout for every body part. So the main things that you need: 2 gallons of water. You can get away with 1, but I suggest you get yourself 2. For the record, a gallon of water weighs just over 8 pounds. You want to get some fancy resistance bands, guys. There's all sorts of resistance bands. You can get them at most sporting goods stores. You can order them online. I have all sorts of different ones. I'm only going to use a couple, though, for the sake of this video. We're going to go through all that. And ladies and guys, don't be afraid to use these too, because they're hard. Get yourself some booty bands. So we support the Steph Mahoy booty bands, which you can go right onto her Instagram page, and there's a link right there in her page to get those. And I asked her today, I told her that I wanted to use them in the video because we like them so much, and she said that for all the Blackstone Labs customers, you can get a 15% discount with code Blackstone Labs. So ladies, I encourage you to do these even if you're not stuck at home. You've seen me use them in some of the videos that we incorporate into all of our serious workouts all the time. So since we're talking about that right now, we're gonna start out with legs first. Now, there's a couple things that everybody can do, both male and female, to really stimulate your lower body. Now, the first one, the easiest one to do, warm everything up. And I'm gonna have Marissa be my subject for all this stuff because her body is feeling a lot better than mine. The first thing that you can do to really get everything warmed up is just start out with bodyweight squats. And so she's gonna take a little bit wider than shoulder width stance. We are fortunate enough to have this mirror here. If you don't have a mirror at home, you're just gonna have to trust that you're using the right form. And what I like my people to do when they're doing bodyweight squats is keep your core tight, and you're gonna keep your hands locked in front of you like this, right? To balance, and you're just gonna start doing your squats. So when you do these, guys, when you start out, you're gonna wanna get into this pulsing, more of rhythmic motion like she's doing here. Now this is going to get the joints warmed up, the blood circulating, et cetera, et cetera. Now I suggest doing a good 25, 30 reps, taking a break for a second, get yourself a sip of water, and then do it again. So now what she's gonna do is, like I said, get herself a sip of water and then run through those a few more times just to get everything lubricated. Now, this actually stimulates your whole entire lower body. So you're working your quads, your glutes, your hamstrings, your calves. Now, depending on what you do with your stance, you can change the stimulus a lot more. So for instance, and it's gonna be a little bit trickier, You can take a much closer stance. And you're gonna wanna make sure you keep your core pulled in real tight, still get your booty down, and you're gonna go down towards about 90 degrees instead of deeper than that. And by doing this, you're gonna get a lot more quad involved. Okay, now, again, because you're using body weight, you're not in the gym, you're not in the leg press, you're not using hacks, you gotta keep your reps at a higher rate, and you also wanna keep them in a good rhythm where you're not slowing down. So we're gonna maximize blood flow in these workouts. And again, you're gonna keep the reps higher. Now, take a break for a second. Completely changing the stimulus, you can go right into a plie squat, which is a much wider stance, and a lot of people do the plie squats wrong. I actually prefer the plie squat to be done with feet all the way out, okay? So I see people doing them like this. They just take a wide stance, and when they go down, I see their knees going all over the place. It drives me insane. Your knee naturally can travel over your toe. So people will say all the time that that's dangerous, right? And that's not good for you. So you can argue on one side that with weight, for instance, it isn't good for the patella tendon to have that kind of stress, but we are all designed to do that. So if you understand normal biomechanics, the human body is designed to do that. Your body, if it wasn't designed to go like this, wouldn't let you do it. So when you do a plie squat, you're gonna take this nice wide stance, right, with your toes going out, and your knees, proper form, is just letting your knees trail out, and as your knees trail out, you're gonna sit your booty down as deep as you can go. Now, some people are more flexible than others, okay? So for me, I'm already feeling this like crazy in my inner thighs and the bottom of my glutes, which is where you wanna feel it. You should not have to go down farther than 90 degrees, okay? So this is your plie style squat that's gonna work your glutes and hams a little more. So you're gonna do, slow it down. We're not rushing here. Now the slower you do it, the harder it's gonna be. And again, we're keeping the reps really high. So fellas, ladies, if you're at home doing these exercises, 3 sets of each one, keep the reps high. All right, keep the reps 20 to 25 reps and the breaks short in between the sets. Once you're all the way through and warmed up with that, now you can make it a little bit more challenging, and you grab yourself a gallon of water. I actually don't like these type of gallons with the things here. They're harder to hold, so there's gonna be excess stabilizers, I suppose, in your wrists and forearms involved in this. It's much easier to do it with a regular gallon of water, but you're gonna hold this gallon just like this, just like it's your dumbbell in the gym. And you're gonna do your dumbbell plie squats like this. So now you have weight. Good. Now this is only 10 pounds, or 8 pounds I should say, so you should be able to do this for plenty of reps, but you wanna make the reps a lot more challenging. Very, very simple. You go at a 4 and 4 count, meaning 4 seconds on the way down, so we're gonna go really slow, ready? That's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then up. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sounds really, really slow. I promise you, it'll burn very, very bad.
That already burned.
If you do that. Now, if you're one of these like super strong girls that I see in the gym all the time, very simple. Grab yourself another gallon. Now you've doubled up your weight. Same positioning again. Keep that core perfect. Good. 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 Perfect. Keep going. Again, ladies, challenge yourself on this. Now I'm making her go fast, so she's getting tired already, but we can keep our reps higher on these exercises, and you can take a break. Now we've already covered warming up. We've covered different forms of squats. We've covered dumbbell plie squats. Now, there are so many things that you can do for the lower body, and one of my favorite ones, and we're gonna bust out this awesome yoga mat here. Fellas, you should be doing these too. You're doing it, not me.
Okay.
We're gonna do some hip thrusts. Okay. Now, this is one that I like to be done very, very slow. And we're gonna give a special shout out to my new friend, Rebecca, if she's watching this video. who told me that it was too easy to do them with body weight. Jack, come on. And I told her, let me take you through a workout and I'll make them hard. So we're gonna get into your stance, your positioning for the hip thrust. I prefer hands on the floor by your side for a firm base when you do these. Now, core stays very, very tight. Foot positioning is important. We're going around shoulder width, right? And the force is coming through your heel. You're pushing your heel into the floor as hard as you can. And you're driving with your heel to bring your glutes up, all the way up. And did I tell you to go down? So this is the finished position. Now, when you're in this finished position, you're gonna keep your core tight, okay? And you're also gonna contract your glutes. And then we're gonna come back down. So that is 1 rep. Now, we can do 1 rep just at a normal, or excuse me, 1 set at a normal pace, which you can start doing right now. Good. So this right now would be considered, in my opinion, bad form and a sloppy rep, okay? Because it is far too fast. So if you're going to Orange Theory or Curves and they have you doing that in your class, that's okay. You're getting blood going. This is the way that I want you to do these. This is gonna make them very, very challenging. And again, we're going with a 4-second concentric and eccentric motion. So here's what we're gonna do. 4 seconds on the way up, ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. Squeeze everything as hard as you can. And then down, 1, 2, 3, 4. And right before you hit the ground, you come right back up again. So there is actually no resting and consistent time on tension. So watch how hard this is. And I want you doing 4 sets of 20 of these. So we're gonna do 20 reps for this 1 set. Watch how tired she's gonna be. Ready?
Yeah.
Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. And 1, 2, 3, 4. Back up. That's 1. Good. Contract it. Back down. Back up. All the way up. Up, up, up. Squeeze your butt hard when you're up there. Back down. Up, up, up. That was too fast. I'm gonna make you do an extra one now because of that. Back down. So we're only at 5 reps right now. Back down, and you're pushing your heels into the floor. Come all the way up. Squeeze. Back down. All the way up, up, up. Higher, higher. Squeeze. Back down. All the way back up. Squeeze. Back down. All the way up. Squeeze. Back down. Keep going. All the way up. Squeeze, and you're pushing your heels into the floor real hard when you do these. Up, 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 squeeze, back down, keep going. Squeeze, back down, all the way up. Now I'm gonna count on some of these so she can see the pace, all right? So we're gonna go 4 and 4. Here we go, 1, 2, so that was way too fast.
Oh, sorry.
So now we're gonna not even count that rep, ready? So up, 1, 2, 3, 4, squeeze, now down, 1, 2, 3, 4, now back up again. 1, 2, 3, 4. So these reps are actually a little even faster than I want them to be. Back down again. 2, 3, 4. Back up. Squeeze really, really hard. Back down. And we're going to do 3 more like that. All the way back up. Squeeze. Back down. And we're going to do 2 more like that. All the way back up. Squeeze. Back down. Now, just so you know, proper breathing. When you come up, you should be exhaling. And then breathing in as you come back down, and you can take a rest. How was that?
Good. It's just hard for me to go slow, even though it's better, obviously.
It's hard for everyone to go slow. Slow it down. Like Juvenile said, slow motion.
Oh, God.
All right? Don't rush all of these things. So you're gonna do 4 sets of 20 reps like that. Now here's the deal. You wanna make it a little bit more challenging. You take that old gallon of water right there, get that on your lap. And now you can do them with weight. Good. Good. Now, if you want to make it even a little bit more challenging, you can hold this weight a little bit lower down here like that. And up. Good. Back down. Make sure you squeeze your glutes hard at the top of the knees. Good. And again, the name of the game here, guys, is short breaks. All right? And lots of reps. So you get it, you can take a break now. So we've done a lot at this point. But guess what? You're not in the gym, you're at home, you got nothing else to do, so you might as well work out really hard. Next thing that we're gonna do lunges and variations of lunges, right? So, simple lunges if you want, if you got pace in your house like we do, you can go over to the doorway there, and we're gonna do some walking lunges. Big steps. Good. 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 And stop for a second. Now, many of you are not gonna have all this space. If you're somewhere where it's not cold outside, even if it is cold outside, go outside and walk your ass around the neighborhood of the park. Get a lot with it. Now, you can also lunge in place. So, let's do some lunges in place. Step forward and step back. Good. Good. A little bit slower though, please. Good. Good. Now again, if you're one of these meatheads and you think this is far too easy for you, now you got your weights, okay? And we're gonna lunge forward. Good. And then back. Good. And again, keep the reps high. Keep the reps high. Now what we can also do, you wanna mix it up, you wanna get more variation, we'll put the weights down for a second. You can do a reverse lunge and you're stepping backwards with a reverse lunge. So we're gonna step back, big step back, boom, then come back forward. Perfect. Good. Good. Now, listen, put all these exercises together. Do 3 sets of each one and keep your reps high and keep going through it. You're gonna have a lot of volume here. You're gonna do quite a bit. And there's so much more you can do. Fellas, I know you hate these. Ladies, that you seem to be able to do these a little bit easier than guys. Find yourself a couch or a chair, and we're gonna do some Bulgarian split squats. So, you can literally do these on anywhere where you've got a platform. You're gonna get your foot back like this, right? Core tight, coming down slow, and then you're driving up. So this is already hard for me, just with no weight. And then we're gonna switch legs. Very, very hard exercise. Now, we can get into all the fancy stuff that you can do with the booty bands. Now, I suggest you going to Steph's site herself and looking at her specific explanations for these because she's the master. She's gonna do them better than we are. However, there's also a video on the Blackstone Labs YouTube page. Just type in Steph Mahoy booty bands and you can see her going through it. I think it's about a 7-minute video that you can learn quite a bit from. Marissa has some of the exercises that she really likes a lot, so she's gonna demonstrate some of those for us. Now we're gonna get this little yoga mat out of the way.
You guys can even use this on some of the ones that we just did, right? Like
Yeah.
the hip thrusters and bring your knees out and stuff,
So the reason that I didn't get into that, guys, is because I want to encourage you to not only watch Stephanie's video, and this is not like a sale for the booty band video, we just really like the booty bands. And I've seen so many girls either using these or a variation of them in the gym on many exercises. I've seen women using them in the Smith machine for squats. I've seen people using them on the leg press. I've seen them using for hip thrust like we just did. You can utilize these in so many ways. If you're home, you got some room and you want to maximize your leg workout, these are some of the exercises that we really, really like.
So this, I'm just gonna do a squat. So this actually supports your knees, correct?
Right.
When you go down and it hits more your glute area. So just shoulder width apart, and then you're just gonna come down.
Slower.
And you can feel the tension a lot here.
And I
it's good
suggest
support.
keeping the reps higher. Now, as I've said all along, the slower you go, the harder it's gonna be. Another thing though, let's say you wanna just maximize your calorie burning and you wanna turn this into HIIT, you can do the same thing like she just did, but speed it up a little bit. So do the same thing, we're just gonna speed it up a little bit. Good. Now at this pace with a lot higher reps and shorter breaks, yes, you're still stimulating the muscle, but now we're getting into an elevated heart rate for a fat burning zone, and you can turn this into a HIIT session. So you're essentially gonna be getting your calorie burning in two different ways. You're gonna be getting, of course, the muscle stimulation, but that HIIT fat burning style. So if you don't have access to cardio equipment like we do, you can actually do these fast and at that HIIT rate to burn a lot of calories as well. One thing that I don't have here is a jump rope, but you can really even intensify it by jumping rope in between sets. Let's go through some new exercises.
I like to do, just find like something to hold on. So like right here, and just kickbacks. So.
Slower. Slow. Now, when you do these and you kick back, contract your glute hard every time. Damn, that's a hard glute. Look at that.
You can also come out, correct?
Yep.
So
Changing the positioning of where you come is going to change the contraction, even changing your actual foot positioning and your heel drive. So we're going to come out with your leg out more like this. And you can also come out where you're actually driving back with your heel like this more. And you're gonna get completely different activation in these different spots.
And then another one I like to do in between like cardio is just like jump squats. So I turn my feet out a little bit. And that, with the band, it adds a lot of tension.
A lot. There's
the booty.
A ton that you can do with these bands. So the exercises that we started out with in the beginning, if you want to accelerate through it faster, you can get right into the bands and make them more challenging. Is there anything else that you wanted to specifically do with the bands?
Well, the hip thrusters, you can like bring your knees out.
Yes, that's another thing that you can do. Like I said, if you go to Steph's page, there's a full tutorial on everything that you can do. And fellas, you should do these too. There's all sorts of stuff that you can do for your abduction. There's just a ton that you can do. Now there's one more thing that I would like to incorporate in legs, and then we can let Marissa take a break. She's done a lot. You can actually leave this booty band on. It's gonna make it actually a little bit more challenging. And everybody's always so worried about the bottom of their butt, the tie-in area that we hear in our industry, which is essentially a make-believe area. There's actually no muscle group called the tie-in group. But what the tie-in is, it's a little bit different on everybody. Shout out to all the Brazilian girls though. They got the best ones. Yeah. It is the area of the body in which the hamstrings and glutes are inserting and meeting in that same point, which is essentially the bottom, right, of your butt, which on many people gets saggier and looser and fat accumulates there. And people always ask me like, what's the best exercise for that area? And I say this over and over again, if you're doing all the hip thrusters, the lunges, the plie squats, all these other things, you can't neglect the Romanian deadlift. And the Romanian deadlift is such a superior exercise because the positioning of this exercise and the way that you're activating your hips, you stimulate the hamstrings in a stretch from the top position. So most hamstring exercises, for instance, if you're laying down and doing a lying hamstring curl, the tension is coming from behind your knee, right? Mm-hmm. So you have this weight behind your leg and you're pulling up from behind your knee, right? So this is why we see so many people that are developed here and they lack up here. They're not even engaging it the right way. You've got to have proper positioning of the hips, involving the glutes the right way to engage this muscle. Now, I actually like to do Romanian deadlifts with the booty band on, and what Marissa's gonna do, just to give herself some tension, is to hold this weight. In the gym, you would hold dumbbells or a barbell, whatever. And when you do these Romanian deadlifts, I like a slightly wider than shoulder width stance. And when you come down, your hips are coming back, almost like you're reaching out for a chair. Like you're trying to find a chair to sit down into. And so your glutes are gonna go back. Come on, you can go back farther with your glutes than that. It should almost feel like you're gonna fall down when you do it. And the tension that you feel is gonna be right in here. Now, depending on how flexible, we're all gonna be able to go down at different rates. I am not that flexible, so I actually feel them already right now.
I just want to try it without, just because I usually do this with weights, so.
You usually, you do it with weight, so you want
I do with weight, but this is like, cause it's like longer than an actual like bar or whatever, it's like hitting it, which is weird.
It's hitting what?
The floor.
So flip it sideways. Boom!
I was waiting for that. All the exercises.
Innovation in the gym. These are things that you're gonna have to figure out on your own. Don't let Corona ruin your workout. So, same thing. Back, 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 back. Good. Now, the only thing that I don't like about what I'm seeing here is I want you to really exaggerate your hips coming back. So back, 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 back. It should feel awkward, like you're gonna fall down.
Yeah.
That's how you know you're doing it right. So if you're, the lighting in here is probably not good enough, but I'm lean enough where when you're coming back, you should feel it here, right? Right away. So if you're not coming back farther enough, right? If you're just leaning from your waist and going down like this, which most people are flexible enough to do, you're not gonna activate this the right way. So when you're in this position, the start is your hips are going to engage back, right? So it's not a forward thrust, this is the opposite. You're actually coming back, 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 and then as you go back, of course, that stretch, my foot positioning is off, is going to bring you forward. Now, when you're really coming back, it should feel so awkward that you're almost like falling over, but the weight will balance you out. Super, super important exercise. Good. Now, if this is too advanced for you, or you don't have the booty bands, just simply take the booty bands off now. And you can get yourself into proper positioning without it. Let's try again.
With this?
Yep. So that stance is a little bit closer than I want it to be though. There you go. And we're gonna bring the hips back as far as you can. Keep bringing them back farther than that. There you go. And back up. Keep that core engaged. And concentrate on feeling it back here really hard. Very good. And we keep our reps high on all of these. Again, guys, just do 3 sets of all of them. We just wiped through so many different leg exercises. That's a freaking hard-ass leg workout. All right, so legs are done.
Perfect.
You can go and take a break, although I might actually have you do some ab stuff.
Okay.
If you want, we can actually throw the abs in now. Why not?
Okay,
actually.
why not?
So, here's the deal. If you've got yourself, if you have yourself a Swiss ball, right? There's so much you can do on these. One of the things that I really like to do, guys, and it's really truly all about the stretch, is you're gonna walk yourself down to the bottom of the ball, okay? And then what you do is you're gonna let your spine curve as far back as you can on this ball so everything opens up. So you should feel like all this stretch through here in your stomach, and I have a hiatal hernia here, which probably looks weird. But everything is really, really stretched out and engaged. And then when I come up, guys, I'm exhaling my air and I'm contracting down like this to flex everything. One shot for that little belly fat there. To contract everything as hard as I can. Common mistake I see people make is they just rock on the ball like this. I can do this probably 10,000 times. You get nothing out of that. So, get yourself in this proper position. If you want to put your hands across your chest and you're exhaling and you're coming down, you're shortening your torso and your core as much as you can, and you're gonna feel everything engaged really, really hard. This is one of my favorite exercises. 3 sets, 15, 20 reps, do them really slow. You get a lot out of this. If you've got yourself the yoga mat, or if you wanna just do it on the floor, we're gonna get down into this position. And I'm gonna show you a very challenging, but very awesome, awesome exercise for the core. And you're gonna demonstrate, because you're in better shape than me. So we're gonna do a reverse sit-up, guys. On the floor.
Okay.
So there's 2 hand positionings that you can do for this. One is right by your side. The other one is right under your butt. So for Marissa being more of a beginner in this type of exercise, I'm gonna have her put her hands under her butt, flat on the ground for this. So we're gonna lay all the way down on the floor. And so what you're gonna do, it's a very short range of motion, is your legs are gonna go here, and you're using your core to actually lift yourself up, so press your hands into the floor, and it's a pulsing movement, so just try to come straight up, and then back down.
I have no core.
Straight up, and then back down, and we're really, really contracting this.
Feel it,
Keep
yeah.
going. You're gonna do a couple sets here. Good. Straight up. Good, back down. Good, keep going. And what we wanna try to do is come straight up on these. Good. And back down. Let's do a couple more, just because it's fun for me to see her struggling a little bit.
I have no core.
2 more. Good, and rest. Now, these exercises are great exercises, and they're slightly more advanced. If you are more of a beginner and you just want to keep it basic, a very, very simple crunch on the floor can be done. However, if you do have this ball, you'll get way, way, way more out of using the ball than you will of doing a regular crunch on the floor. Now, I can get into so much more with these, but this video will be 5 hours long, and I think you guys will get really, really bored. So combine these ab exercises, do more reps if you want, and you'll stimulate your core quite a bit. So we've done our complete lower body, and we've done our core. So we've wiped out half the body, okay? Now the leg stuff, that's gonna be the trickiest stuff to do, because for starters, we are so spoiled that we're used to all these fancy machines, and we're used to leg presses and hack squats and leg extensions and lying hamstring curls and seated hamstring curls and all these exercises that work your butt. Well, in the old days, they didn't have any of that shit. They had to do a bunch of free weights. So, thank you.
Bye.
Get yourself some water. I love you too. Good job. Give her a kiss. Good job. Give her a kiss. All right, so breaking down the upper body. Typically what I do is, depending on whether or not I have a lot of time or a little time, breaks down what I want to do as far as the actual volume for the exercises. But if you have resistance bands like this, so these are 50 pounds, right? And they make them in all different sizes and strengths. This one, as you can see, is thinner. So the thinner ones are usually obviously going to be not as much resistance. So it's a little simple thing that you can do, guys. And you can wipe out so much with this. And this is going to be for your chest. Now, any pole, stairway, you can find a spot, go outside and use a tree if you need to. And you can pretty much do your entire chest with this cable and some good old-fashioned push-ups on the floor. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna come out. Now the farther out I go, the more challenging it is. So for the easier beginning sets, warming up, I'm gonna start out right here, right? I've got my core engaged properly, and I have my scapula pinched back to open up my chest, and we're gonna come all the way forward, contract the chest muscles really, really hard, and then come back in a controlled motion. Now what I usually do is I keep my reps slower, and I get all the blood flowing. And then once I feel like I've got myself a little bit warmed up, I watch my foot positioning, I just take a step forward. Now, just from doing that, you've increased the tension, okay? And we're gonna make it a little bit harder now. And again, nice and slow and controlled. And when you come forward, you're really, really contracting the chest muscles hard. So you do a couple sets like that, maybe not more challenging. I'm gonna step it even farther. Now you'll know when you've gotten to a spot where it's really hard, because you're gonna be getting a little bit of shaking going on, because the muscles are gonna be working so hard to stimulate. And that's okay. You want it to be challenging. The farther forward you go, you can see this resistance gets harder and harder and harder. What I encourage you guys to do is take short rest periods with this. And again, just like what we were doing with the lower body, 3 sets, get your reps high, but make it challenging. If I step farther forward with this, I'm gonna have a hard time getting 10 good reps. As you can see, I'm really, really struggling to do this now. So how do you turn this into a very, very advanced technique? Very simple. You want to control the stimulus of this muscle. You want to hit different areas. All you got to do is change your actual plane of motion. So I can come down like this, right? And now I've got my decline press, and I can feel this a lot in the bottom of my chest. Feel a little bit more in the triceps this way as well. Now we're going to come back neutral, which would be your normal flat style press. Now, if you want to really stimulate what would be considered more of an incline type exercise, I'm going to show you a variation with your hands. So this would be considered incorrect or dangerous form because of the shoulder positioning. Now, you have to remember, I'm somebody that needs 2 artificial shoulders. That's how bad my shoulders are. So when we come in this position, I want you to watch what I'm doing as I'm pressing this. We're starting up nice and high, and as I'm coming forward, I'm actually coming down, and I'm contracting. I'm feeling the stretch through here all the way up in my clavicles, and I'm coming down into this almost like a baseball throwing motion, right? So if you notice from the sides, you can see that I'm not actually going in a straight line. I'm actually coming back up and then rounding it back down. Now what that does is when I'm here, like I said, it's sort of like a baseball throwing motion, is when I'm here and I'm coming down, I'm contracting really, really hard through the upper pec shelf, as they like to call it these days. Okay, much different than just coming straight forward. You can actually feel it yourself at home. Put your finger right here, start up here higher, come down and contract. You'll feel so much more of a contraction when you do that. Want to get into some flies, some pec decks, some cable crossovers? Same thing. You've got these cables, right? Now you're just changing your positioning. You're opened all the way up, and there you go. Now you got your cable crossover. Simple. And you can change, of course, the stress by moving these into different spots as well. And you're getting so much chest activation here. Do these exercises first. Play around. Just do the regular press first. Okay, so you got 3 sets. Let's just say for the sake of everything, we're doing 15. Then we're gonna go those declines, 15. Then we're gonna go inclines, 15. So you already got a lot of volume, and then you can get into those flies. So you've got a lot of volume, and now you're gonna be fatigued. Very simple. We don't even need the yoga mat for these. You can get on the floor and start getting into our push-ups. Now, push-ups, you can change around where the stress is going. Of course in your chest, but through your delts, your triceps, just by opening up the hand positioning. So when we start with our basic push-up, you're just coming down to the floor like this, core tight, and you're pushing back up. Now I'm a little bit fatigued. I also did chest today because of everything that I just did. So don't do the push-ups first. Do them after, right? When you're really, really fatigued. You want to make them very, very challenging. You can move your hands in, and now we're getting a lot of tricep stimulation, some extra delt work. I wouldn't suggest going too wide with them, but you can change your hand positioning around and change the stress of where you're feeling the contractions. You do that, and you've got your entire chest fried. You've also stimulated a lot of delt and tricep. So if you wanted to do a completely separate delt routine, you could, or if you wanted to throw in a little bit of extra and just not cover so much of the body, or excuse me, and just cover one body part rather than doing everything, very, very simple, is you can take, and in fact I will use one of my other cables for these. Get yourself a mirror so you can make sure your form is perfect. And what we're gonna do is make sure this is even. I'm gonna step right in the center like this, and we're gonna do some lateral raises. So I always stress the importance of the medial lateral raise, right? That is the part of your shoulder that is responsible for the width, right? But because you have these cables, you can move into all these different positionings and keep stimulating your chest, excuse me, your delts in different ways. So now I'm hammering my front delts. And as I come out, changing the stress more and more and more. And we're getting into the medial delts. okay? If I wanna go really, really, really fancy, and I'm doing this with my chest, turn the palms like this, okay? So with your palms supinated like that, you're gonna come up, and this is a very, very tricky chest exercise that's gonna stimulate your chest like crazy. So we've hit a bunch of chest exercises, we've hit a bunch of delt exercises, we've stimulated our triceps a lot, but you might say, well, I want to do more for posterior delt. PJ, your posterior delts suck. Very simple. You take this same cable, you're gonna get into that positioning, and now you come out, I'm gonna get a little bit closer because this is a little bit too hard for me, and now you're gonna come out and you're gonna get into that posterior delt contraction. Now, what I also like to do with these cables that you see on here is, this is a much, much different style of band, and there's different thicknesses, right? So this one's very, very strong and very, very thick. Some of you guys that have big benches, you'll want to use these. Guys with injuries like me, you can switch it to these, and again, you can do all sorts of chest exercises with these as well, and also, you can get your posterior delt exercises. You don't need to go, with the posterior delt, guys, you don't need to do this dramatic range of motion. You really only want to come back to 90 degrees. So we've stimulated every head of our delt quite a bit. You want to make it even more challenging? Go over, get your gallons of water, and you can do your lateral raises, again, with your gallons of water. Now, you could get really fancy with this, and you can superset the cables with the gallons of water. And again, you can change your positioning with these. Now, if you have a normal gallon of water, it makes it a lot easier. You can do your posterior bent over lateral flies, which I like to do a lot. You can still do them with it like this, but when you have the actual handle on the gallon of water, it makes it a lot easier. So, to finish the pushing exercises, right, since we're working all those muscle groups together, go back to our cable, right? And now we can do our tricep extensions. Elbows are staying totally straight. You guys have probably seen me do exercises like this in the gym with cable machines before. And after all that other stuff you've done, this is pretty challenging, okay? And you can see that I'm getting tired here. You want to get even more fancy with it, you can get yourself different cable attachments. I'm already getting out of breath because I've already done my regular workout today, and this is actually tiring me out. So you can see this is not a joke. So again, you can do close grip bench presses where you're going to be pushing down like this and really, really, really squeezing the triceps hard. You can even get in a position where if you put these, we're going to go super fancy for you guys now. We don't worry about stuff, the super fancy stuff. So what you can do is you can get these at all different lengths and styles where you can come behind your head like this and elbows in by your sides, and now you're doing a tricep press down just like you would do in the gym. And these are much harder than you think. If you guys see from the back, you're gonna want this to come kind of across your traps / posterior delts, and full extension on the bottom, and then back up. Again, guys, keep the reps going with these. I love the idea of putting chest, shoulders, triceps together and just stimulating everything. So you can do the legs, do the chest, shoulders, triceps together. What do we have left? We have the back. Now the back, I always say you want a big back, you gotta do rows, right? Lots and lots of rows. Well, with these different cable exercises, you can do all different types of rows. So you can just stand like this and get yourself a basic row. This would just be like your normal seated pulley row in the gym. And what's awesome about these cable attachments is you can absolutely change the stress of the exercise and where you're stimulating the muscle just by your hand positioning. So now that I have an overhand grip like this, I'm getting a little bit more posterior delt involved, and that's okay. Come back here neutral. This is gonna be your pure lat and rhomboid, and then you want to get really fancy, you can go to the underhand grip. And now we're going to really feel that stretch in the lower lats a lot. Now you can get really, really advanced with this exercise. For instance, you can come over your head like this now. And now, all of a sudden, we're doing lat pull downs. How about that? Think that you can't do any kind of pull down exercise unless you have a pull-up bar at home? Now we're doing lat pull downs. And again, you can change the hand positioning of your arms. And you can go underhand. Keep the elbows in. This is gonna mimic what you would be doing with a pullover exercise. Now, what I love to do in between all my back exercises, guys, is I take this cable like this. And these feel so good. Get into a good stretch, right? And then just let your body weight pull you down. You're gonna keep your head up and let your scapula actually travel forward. So don't be pinched back. Let your scapula travel forward, and then to really enhance it, turn your palms like that. See what I just did? That just opened up my whole entire back. That just opened up my whole entire back and stretched everything out. Now what you can do is hold this 15, 20 seconds in between your sets. And if you want with this same bar, or excuse me, same band, you can actually turn this into another variation of the rope, of the cable exercises, where you're keeping your core tight and you're pulling your elbows down towards your knees. This is just like doing a pullover. You guys have seen those Nautilus pullover machines where you're driving with the elbows. Well, now we're really hitting the lats quite a bit. And depending on how the light is in here, you might even be able to see my lats stretching and contracting through this hoodie if it's tight enough. But I'm getting a big, big, big stretch and then contracting everything back. So, just with those two exercises right there, based on all the different hand positionings, you can essentially get like 20 different sets done and get tons of volume, ton of blood in your back, all with this positioned right here. Now, if you have a pull-up bar and you can do pull-ups, go ahead and do some pull-ups. There's probably a tree branch outside that might be able to do some pull-ups on as well. But that is plenty to get your back stimulated. So she's got her fancy, that was a birthday present, by the way, not too bad for me.
The best one. If you guys are obsessed with like burning calories, that little like demo that we did right there, I burned 300 calories. So that's pretty awesome for like not like actually doing like sets and stuff, you know? So, woo!
Shove off! I'm almost done. All right, so we've done chest, shoulders, tries. Now we're on to the back, and of course I like to throw the biceps in movement. You go back to these cables like we had. Chest up high, supinated palms, and we're gonna curl up. And then curl back down. Curl up and curl back down. Now, if you guys don't think that this is challenging, just like what I had Marissa do in the beginning, we're gonna start getting into those 4-second concentric and eccentric motions. So check this out, guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. I actually went a little bit too fast. But if you're doing your reps at that pace, the muscle is under tension for so long, everything is really, really, really working hard. Now, you can do so much variation with the cable exercises like this. I love it because just from changing the positioning of where your hands and elbows are, you can actually change the stress of the stimulation on the biceps. So if we open ourselves up all the way like this, chest is really, really opened up and wide, and now we're gonna curl out, which is already really, really tricky and hard for me. This is like doing an incline dumbbell curl. And you're gonna feel the stress through the inside of the bicep a lot. Great, great, great variation. Now you wanna flip things around and try to hit more brachial radialis, more brachialis, like a hammer curl. Simple, you're gonna lean forward just a little bit, and now we're gonna curl all the way up like this, and you'll feel it just there. You're gonna feel the stimulation so much more on the outside of the bicep. So my advice to you, we're gonna do 3 sets normal like this, right? Get everything all warmed up. Then come all the way outside. Get yourself 3 sets of what would be considered those incline curls. And then at the end, lean forward just a little bit. And we're gonna come in. Now you can alternate as well. Little tip for you guys if you wanna really, really get the bicep in its, I don't wanna say most natural form, because really the natural function of the bicep is literally just turning your hand. But if you wanna get excess stimulation going on here, you're gonna keep your elbows back really, really far like this, right? And then just hold your contraction here. So when you're at your, let's say 12, 13, 14, 15th rep and you're really, really tired, rather than resting, hold this isometric contraction for as long as you can and really, really feel that blood in there. And then, just to make it even more intense, bring your elbows forward like this and hold it there. Make sure you keep your core tight. I mean, my biceps are freaking burning doing this. And these are little extra things that you can do just to keep more tension in there. And if you want to make it more challenging, you can take your gallons, right? Now you've got yourself some 10-pound free weights. And you're getting stimulated like that. So we just covered everything. Now here's my advice to you guys. Depending on how much time you're gonna be stuck at home, you can do this a number of different ways. And a little bit of a pump on as well. I don't know how the lighting is in here. So, there's a number of ways that you can do this based on how long you think that you're gonna be at home. If you're somebody that's just a workout freak, you could do the whole body every day if you want. Just burn calories like crazy. If you want to get more of, let's say, a bodybuilding type of workout / benefit, my advice to you would be to do the leg day, then to do what would be considered the push day, which is your chest, tricep, shoulder, and then have your pull day, which would be the back and biceps, and then repeat. And you'll get plenty of stimulus doing this. Hopefully you're not gonna be at home for more than a couple weeks. And if you wanna do the core stuff, do the core stuff every day. Also, if you have the foam roller like I do, you can foam roll at the end. You can get yourself small, like tennis balls, things like that, to get out the knots in your back. And it's always great when you're done. You can do all these different stretches in here, which will feel really good. I really like just to let my back open up all the way like this. You can sit down and enhance it. This feels really, really, really good. Just opening everything up. You know, just the stress that we have during the day, guys. Contracting everything and compressing everything. This really, really feels good. Loosening everything up. Make sure you keep your core tight when you do this. And if you're stuck at home, take the time to even just stretch everything, guys. Stretch your chest out, stretch your triceps out, stretch your legs, all these things that you wouldn't normally do. Take advantage of it. This is really good for you because we go so hard all the time. We're in our gym, we're in our normal routines all the time. We never, most of us, take the time to do these different exercises like this. And this is gonna stimulate everything in such a great and different way that when you get back to doing the stuff in the gym, your workouts are gonna be amazing. I promise you that. So don't look at this as a down period, being stuck at home. Look at this as an opportunity to do something different that's gonna really benefit your physique in the end. And that is my at-home Corona workout for you guys. I love you all. Babe, you wanna come in and say bye to everybody as well?
Goodbye.
Thank you for being the leg demonstrator today.
You're welcome.
Thank you for Eric coming in here and filming this in the middle of a crazy day with a lot of crazy stuff going on. And follow the workouts, guys. Peace out, bye. And thank you to Steph Mahoy for the discount
It's awesome.
on the booty bands, guys. So go check them out.